Mosey Nation, a lot of people ask, how do you guys get so much stuff done? How do the companies move forward with such speed? And for those of you who don't know, my name is Alex Hormozy. We own acquisition.com. Our portfolio does about $85 million a year. I give you all this stuff because I just want you to not be broke, and a lot of people are, and so I don't want you to be one of them. All right. And so this video is a video that was I released in a group a very long time ago, and it's one of the top ranked videos in that group, out of 300 plus videos. And it was how we tactically execute on speed. So speed is king is one of the core tenets of our companies. Actually turning that concept of speed into something that everyone can execute on is one of the key things that moves you forward towards your goals faster. All right, and it's not what a lot of people think. It's not about being impatient. It's not about trying to get 100 things done, but it's about knowing how to get the things done that matter, A, and then B, how do we get these short tasks done in a way that actually moves teams forward rather than individuals. All right, so I think you'll enjoy the video. It was ranked one of the top ones, and I'll see you on the other side. Mosey Nation, love you.
Good morning, everyone. Hope you guys are having a fantastic Friday. Today, I wanted to talk about something that has been on my docket for a while, but today felt like the right day. So I'm calling this fuck end of week. What I mean by that is one of the things that I've seen across the board when we're talking to entrepreneurs and the gym owner community that we have is that the one trait I see over and over again that is clear to the people who are winners, right? The top 1%. I'm not talking top 10%, but the top 1%. Is the speed with which they execute after making a decision. One of the definitions that we talk about in the community is that the definition of power, as I understand it, is the gap between thoughts becoming reality. And so if you thought about an omnipotent being, right, someone who has unlimited power as they think that thing would be, right? And so if you were to believe in a creator of some sort, then you might think as that creator thought the universe became. Right? And so if you think that is like the ultimate scale of power, then the closer we can get to that, the more powerful we become, the more potent we are as entrepreneurs. And so I see this so many times that it's not even a oh, like this is associated with success. Like this is what creates success, because the gap between where you decide something is a good idea and when it actually occurs is the loop with which you can improve your business. And so it's a lot like, I can't remember what the saying was, but it's not like how old the car is, but about how many miles are on it. And what I mean by that is like, we're young, right? But there's been a lot of iterations that have happened from, when the business first started, when I started my first gym until now. And I think the key to that is the speed of the OODA loop. And that's just like a military term, like observe, orient, decide, act. And it's just the loop with which that you can basically see what's going on, make a decision, act on it, and then do that whole loop again, right? Because the faster you can pivot and iterate, the more responsive you are as an entrepreneur, the faster you can take advantage of opportunities, the faster you can find out what failures are, and then move on. I want to talk about this within the context of running a team and employees, and then also within yourself. And so from running your team, right, one of the things that, once you're moving out of you doing things all the time, there's how do I get other people to do things? And so that's why I called this like fuck end of week, right? Is that one of my biggest pet peeves is like, yeah, I can get you that by end of week. I'm like, why don't you just get it to me in an hour? Because that's how long it takes. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's like, well, I have a meeting right then. It's like, is it more important than this? No. Okay, well then do it. Like if you think about how you can run an organization like that, if you can get things done end of day, right, rather than end of week, you are literally speeding up the organization 7x. Think about that. And so when you're thinking about deadlines and you're thinking about expectations, you as the owner can set the cadence. If people say, hey, can we do this? And then you're like, cool, let's start right now. You set the tone for how the organization is going to move, how quickly it's going to orient, how quickly thoughts become reality, and ultimately how powerful your organization will become because of the speed, right? And speed isn't doing things fast. It's basically just not being distracted by other shit that doesn't matter. It's being able to prioritize. And most people, a lot of the times, aren't doing something that's high priority. Right? A lot of times they're just doing nothing. If you can speed up that loop and force and apply pressure to your team to not do things by end of week or even end of day, it's like, it's 10 a.m. Can you get this done by noon? Okay. And then you can have that loop happen 3 times within a day rather than it taking 3 weeks, right? Because you've set that cadence from the beginning and then things get done faster. So I've been reading some really interesting books lately and I referred them out to a handful of entrepreneur friends that I have that are all doing 5 to 15 million, kind of in that range. And what was amazing to me is that every single one of them read the book immediately, sent me back their notes and what they were going to do with it. And basically were asking feedback on the angle that they were going to take with it. What's fascinating to me is that if you look at lower level entrepreneurs, and I'm not saying that in a negative way, I'm just saying in terms of just objective revenue, like just they haven't achieved as much. The delay between being able to gain information and act is so much longer, and that's why where they want to be. It's kind of the same degree of people who pay for our program and haven't gone through the portal yet. I'm like, what are you doing, right? Like what priority, like what education do you have that is not relevant to your business? Like you're reading a motivational blog right now when you have to translate that motivation into a thought that you're then going to quote test, and then you have to see how that test works, and then maybe it improves something, rather than just following the playbook that has already been tested and has already, like the tree has been shook, right? And so if you look at like Joey, for example, who by all definitions, his gym is the #1 gym within Gym Launch, right? He had already finished everything in Legacy by week 8, his first 8 weeks. He'd already implemented every single system in Legacy. And so it's not like he has more hours in the day, right? It's not like his business is different. It's just that his level of efficacy in execution was so high because he didn't allow himself to get distracted by things. And the moment he has something he needs to execute, it creates this itch inside of him that he can't move forward without executing this so that the relief comes. And if you can start to foster that type of behavior in yourself and those attitudes about execution, you will grow faster and you will become more powerful as an entrepreneur, right? If you think about your competition, who would you fear, right? The competitor who sees what you're doing can immediately execute, implement, and improve on it at a faster loop than you can even understand what's going on, right? And that's where speed of first to market and things like that don't matter as much, because if a competitor can execute and out OODA loop, right, can speed that loop up faster, they can iterate and improve on it faster than you can, and then you have no chance to catch up. And so if you're looking at your business, look at it from a context of speed, of how long does it take us to improve things? How long from understanding that our churn is high to executing the 5 horsemen, how long did that take? We knew what the problem was. How long did it take for us to do? And if you can get real with yourself about how many actual hours it will take to do something, and then you look at your week and you think, okay, what am I doing today that is more important than this? And where can I put these 2 hours? And start with the moment that you make the decision. And then all of a sudden you'll be getting things done that day, that afternoon, rather than end of week, end of month. We purposely delay these things because we just procrastinate for no reason when the problem will not go away, right? And so that is why within Gym Launch, speed is king is one of the core tenets of the business, because you have to, and the tone has to start with you as the entrepreneur. Like, you have to apply that pressure. You have to say, fuck end of week. Why, like, what are you doing today that's more important than this, right? What are you doing in the next 2 hours that's more important than this? Tell me, right? And a lot of times you'll get the answer like, well, I guess I can do it now. It's like, yeah, then let's do it now. Let's get it done, right? And that small change can 7x, right? If you even going from end of week to end of day, can 7x how quickly your business grows, because the solutions that you need to implement to solve the problems and break through the bottlenecks happen today, not in a week, not in a month. And then the reaction to the next thing that breaks, the next bottleneck in the business, happens not in a week, not in a month, but in a day. And then that's how quickly you can pivot from where you are to where you want to go, because it's not one big thing. It's a million small turns that will get you there. Anyways, I hope anyone, somebody found value in this. If you have an employee or you're managing your team and you want to implement new things, start with today, right? Start with end of day, not end of week. Start with end of the next 2 hours, and then work backwards from there, and then apply pressure and push back on excuses for why something can't be done. Ask for why do you think this thing that you're going to do is more important than this? And I want a real answer. Right? And if they can't give you a real answer, then it means that I need to help you prioritize, and that's fine. But this is now going to be your priority, because this is what drives revenue. This is what drives retention. This is what's going to drive the business. Look at your schedule, identify the bottlenecks you have, and then start doing them now, not in tomorrow, not in a week, not in a month, because there's no point. It's just the speed with which you can close the gap between your thoughts and your decisions and the reality that you create in front of you will dictate how powerful you are as an entrepreneur and even as a human being. So anyways, have an amazing day. Have a fantastic Friday. For my Gym Lords, I will see you guys on the call later today. Otherwise, keep being awesome. Tag, like, comment, all that jazz. Lots of love. All right.